Hi, thank you everyone for coming to my speech, my persuasive speech. If everyone could just introduce themselves really quick by name so we know that there are 8 people.
I'm Lisa.
And we'll go around clockwise, I guess.
Hi, I'm Ann.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jen. I'm Mary.
I'm Cody.
Madeline. I'm Nancy.
Okay, thanks again so much for coming, all 8 of you. Wonderful to have you here. So I'll just start. The 90s were a gentler time. Bed bugs were gone. Your grandmother could purchase Franzia and Pall Malls without being ID'd at Rite Aid, and infant and mortality rates had fallen alongside the rates of other developed nations. Fast forward 17 years past 2000, bed bugs are a problem again. The streets are full of senior citizens denied their right to buy booze at Rite Aid because they didn't have their IDs. And the U.S. has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the country, in the developed world. Skyrocketing infant maternal and mortality rates during the past 2 decades are a huge problem in the United States. Compared to other rich countries whose maternal death rates have fallen, the U.S. rates continue to grow. In Maine, there were 2 maternal deaths reported between 1999 and 2008, according to the Maine Maternal and Infant Mortality Review Panel. Unfortunately, according to an article in last year's December 13th publication of Bangor Daily News, the Maternal, Fetal, and Infant Mortality Review Panel has not convened in more than 2.5 years. Reports the group has submitted to the Maine legislature confirm its last meeting was prior to June 30th, 2014. Maine is the only state to see a higher infant mortality rate in this decade than the previous decade. This is hugely upsetting. Maternal mortality rates need to be monitored closely, especially when they're rising. There are many causes of the rising maternal mortality rates, and there are also many solutions. The main thing that we can do now is educate ourselves and, in effect, be a resource for others. I will now examine the major problems of infant mortality in this country. The New York Times reported in September 21st, 2016, that maternal mortality rate has risen despite improvements in healthcare and an overwhelming global trend in the other direction. In all, the American rate was up by more than half since 1990. The CIA puts out a World Fact Book, and it included the infant mortality rates worldwide in 2016. The maternal mortality rates have not been updated since 2010. And I made a thing. So the maternal mortality rates have not been updated since 2010. Hungary comes in at 135 with 21 deaths per 100,000. The United States, 21 per 100,000, and then Iran, I don't know quite how they figured it out because they all have 21. Grenada and Saudi Arabia are worse with 24 deaths, and Bahrain and Turkey are better off with 20 deaths. And then the infant mortality was updated in 2016. The United States falls between Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. The United States has 5.8 per 1,000, Serbia has 5.9, and Bosnia and Herzegovina has 56. There is one major thing affecting infant and maternal mortality that we can do something about. The Guardian reports that the rate of Texas women who died from complications related to pregnancy doubled from 2010 to 2014, a report appearing in the September issue of Obstetrics and Gynecology. The maternal mortality rate in the United States increased between 2000 and 2014, even while the rest of the world succeeded in reducing its rate. That's developed nations and third world nations. This excludes California, where maternal mortality declined, and Texas, where it surged. The estimated number of maternal deaths per 100,000 births rose to 23.8 in 2014 from 18.8 in 2000, so about 27% in Texas. California has upwards of 100 health clinics that provide necessary services in regards to women's health. On the other hand, Texas eliminated all Planned Parenthood clinics, whether or not they provided abortion services, from the state program that provides poor women with preventative health care. Previously, Planned Parenthood clinics in Texas offered cancer screenings and contraception to more than 130,000 women. Women are in dire need of our support in defending their right to comprehensive health care. I urge you all to do whatever you can to support Planned Parenthood, to call or write your local representatives, to tell them how important Planned Parenthood is, and how upset you are by the rising rates of maternal death in this country. It may also help to question them as to where the maternal, fetal, and infant mortality review panel is when they are so desperately needed. I also plan to personally write a letter to Portland Press Herald and Bangor Daily News regarding this topic. Today, I've shared with you the despicable maternal and infant mortality rates in the United States. I compared our countries with rates of other countries. I found a major facet in rising maternal death rates to be lack of access to adequate health care for women. Finally, I urge you to support Planned Parenthood and to educate yourself about the necessity of comprehensive health care for women. The National Center for Health Statistics makes this important assertion. Infant mortality is one of the most important indicators of the health of a nation, as it is associated with a variety of factors such as maternal health, quality and access to medical care, socioeconomic conditions, and public health practices. The fact that we cannot seem to afford to provide all women in this country with adequate care is disgraceful and something that we need to fight against. Thank you again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
Nice from the peanut gallery.